Chief?
I'm gonna go up here.
No, in the hallway tonight. In the hallway tonight. In detention.
Anyways, in your packet, you received a couple proposals for a new tanker truck. We got one from Hyman Freight, we got one from Fredericks, and Osco, and one from Maine International. The last year or so, we've been looking at a new tanker truck. We've got one that's 1989, holds 1,200 gallons of water. This one here will hold 2,000 gallons of water. With us going up to Fort Ripley Township now, and the truck that we don't really own it right now. It's a DNR. It's on a lease. We've had it for probably 15 years or better. So it's getting a little old. What we looked at doing, as you can see, the one bid we got from Maine International was like $80,000 for the truck only. We happened to find the truck at Fredericks for $49,800. Yeah. It's a 2009 chassis. It's a 4400. It is a fire truck. Has been used as a fire truck, so it'll fit right in. We went with that route, or we'd like to go with that route, because we're going to save approximately $30,000. The apparatus itself, we're recommending is going with Hyman. Hyman is a company that I've worked with in the past. They're a little bit more money than what we got from Osco, but that being said, we can, it's an elliptical tank versus a regular standard tank. I think I sent you some pictures, didn't I? This is the one we're looking at. This one here. And then the other one is an elliptical tank. Elliptical is a round tank where the sides are round on it, so it's hard to mount ladders on it. You're going right into the tank. You can put a hose bed up on top. The carriers on the side are different compartments. So it's about $3,000, and there was some other thing. The lighting package was included on the Hyman one, where it wasn't included on the other one. So we're recommending to go with Fredericks at the $49,800 for the chassis, and that was a 2009. A lot of times people ask why we go used. The trucks that we've had, we don't put a lot of miles on them, but the apparatus is what really counts, because the apparatus is what usually goes before the trucks do. We had the 1989 that we just sold to Flensburg and had 14,000 miles on it. So that's the reason why we're going with the used chassis, but the apparatus will be new. And we recommend you go with Hyman Fire. Let's see, that one is at 73,830. So the total was $123,630. I had budgeted for $160,000. It's in the 5-year capital improvement plan. We got kind of set back a little bit because our other engine truck took us a little longer than what we suspected, so the capital improvement plan is back. We do have the money in our equipment fund, and I think it's a good plan. Any questions?
I got a question on that chassis. That's not a salvage or repairable?
It is a repairable. We went out and we looked at it many times. I've got a truck committee of 5 guys. A couple of them work on a camper if they have heavy equipment stuff. Another one's a mechanic here in town. So they go and they look through it, and they warranty just like a new one. They warranty for 1 year. Just like a new one. That's all we get on a new one to do is a 1-year warranty. So another thing nice about getting a truck, it's close. If we do have issues with it, and they don't want to sell us anything. Like I told them, I said, we got 35 guys that are going to sell us the junk. It's going to get spread all over the country. So they seem to be pretty reputable. There's been quite a few departments that have bought from them before.
I just see they got quite a few sitting there all the time. It
This
seems
one
like
here
they
is in
rotate
the back.
inventory, but that's it.
They'll warranty just like it. That's what we did with our last one.
Well, are you talking about the right one?
I mean,
We you see the inventory sitting there. He's talking about one on the other side of the river, if I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're hooked together.
no, they're not.
Well,
You ask them, they're totally separate. Yeah. Yeah, it is on the other side of the river, you're right. Any questions?
No, I like the idea of it being repairable. I think it's reflected in the cost from, 49 to 70. And as a reasonably proud owner of several repairable vehicles, I've had good luck with them. Have financial savings with the end of it.
You know, the new one that we got is 2017, our engine truck, I've had it down in Maine now 4 or 5 times.
big surprise.
So, that's just, and, yeah, you guys that work with it, you know, it's one of the things, we've had a repairable, we have one on the west side, truck over there, so
This actually going used might be more dependable with the emissions tier.
Right.
exactly. You don't have to go back.
Anyone else have questions for Chief?
All right,
Okay.
and yeah, we might be able to do a little better, so that's a little more work, the light package, but we'll work on that. Thank you.
Sounds good. Anyone else got anything under the other?
If you want to, I've got some updates if you want to listen to them now versus later on.
Got 15 minutes.
I got less than that on here then. Just give you updates on our overall projects and stuff. Our 374 project, 3rd Street is almost done. We did the first lift of blacktop on there, and the seating is has been completed, so we're just waiting for the grass to germinate right now. They got some punch list item stuff as well as the final lift of blacktop to finish on that, but it's really close to being done. 3rd Avenue also is close to being completed. Topsoil and seeding is going to be at the end of this week, and then they'll come back and again do the final lift of blacktop on that one. 4th Street Northwest, not as far as the other 2 components of the overall project, but still it's getting close to being completed. They're going to be pouring concrete curb tomorrow, and then maybe later on this week we'll be looking at class 5, and then probably next week we'll get some blacktop over there. So all in all, the 374 is coming along nicely. We're very close to being complete with that project. Our fog seal project that we had on the west side, that's been completed. That was done middle of last week. So all of the areas that we're looking at fog sealing have been done. Essentially, what that does is puts a little bit more oil back in the pavement to preserve it a little bit longer. The next step would be to do our slurry seal project. I haven't heard a start date on that one. It's supposed to start in August, but I'm hoping that they can fit us in earlier just because we do have time and it's open for them to be able to work there. Our smoke testing on the sewers is ongoing. We're focusing on the east side right now. We've done most of the southeast part of town. We found a couple of areas where there are open vent pipes or rain meters that are connected to the sanitary sewer that we'll have to notify the owners and talk about how we can get those isolated from it. But all in all, it's going pretty good as far as identifying where those connections are at. If you've looked around town, you've noticed that a lot of the hydrants have been painted freshly red. It's a thanks out to Sess to Serve. They painted over 80 hydrants, so they don't look the shabby white and flaky red anymore. They've been painted and they're nice looking now. The pavement markings, that's still going on. It's close to completion. There's a couple of areas that they have left to complete, like parking lots and stuff like that. Overall, that's going very well this year, and that's almost complete, but it's probably got about 2 weeks left before they'll be done with everything that they've got. We used some excess material from our 3rd Street project from 374 to restore one of the lagoons for our water plant. So that saved us some money, just staff time to be able to restabilize the banks in our lagoon up on 7th Avenue. We were awarded 2 grants from the Department of Health. One, we talked about before, was well number 4. They'll be doing the sealing that space next week sometime. And then the other grant is for our modeling for our wellhead protection, so that'll be ongoing for sure. And that's really what I've got for the updates. One of the things that we do have later on the agenda is to discuss the parking lot over by the library. I did put in a layout on your desk up there for the council meeting. Essentially what we're looking at is a difference in 9-foot parking stalls versus 10-foot parking stalls. We've laid it out kind of the same way. If we go with 10-foot parking stalls, which I'll be honest is my preference, just because I like a little bit more room in the parking stall, we do lose 1 spot per aisle, so a total of 4 spots would be lost. We go from 41 down to 37 parking stalls. 2 of those parking stalls would be handicap accessible. The rest would be regular parking stalls for patrons of both the library as well as the courthouse. And I guess I just wanted to throw it out to the council. I know there was some discussion about parking stalls in the past. A preference on what we would like to see in terms of parking stalls, whether it's I like the parking lot over here, or I want to see this width of a parking stall. I did do some checking through Google Earth just to see how wide some of our parking stalls were at, whether it's the city parking lots or various commercial businesses around town here. And I can read those off if you want, or if you know of a parking lot that you like, I can do some checking on that as well.
Just a question for you, Greg. You mentioned 2 handicap spots. Is there a reason for 2 handicap spots there? If we have handicap ones by the library and handicap ones by the courthouse?
Whenever
Is it just something required?
It's required, yes. Whenever you do a parking lot, you have to have a required number of handicap accessible spots. And so because we're putting in, let's just say 40 parking stalls, we have to have a minimum of 2 handicap stalls.
We just see a lot of them that are wasted a lot of times
It's
when
it's a
they're
required
redundant in the area.
So, just looking at some of the parking stall widths. Out here, in our parking lot at City Hall, those are 10-foot wide parking stalls. If you look at, say the Ferguson lot, which is right across from the parking, from the courthouse, those are 9.5 feet. The Little Pig is at 9 feet, that's behind the old Morrison County record. The Red Bull parking lot is at 10 feet. The Antler parking lot across from towards Church, that is a 10-foot parking stall. If you look at like Crossroads down in St. Cloud, those are 9 feet. And going there, it's always, you're right next to the car right next to you. Walmart in town here is at 9.5 foot. Coburn's in the front, those are at 10.5 feet, so a little bit wider than normal. But in the back, those are at 9 feet. So I don't know, is there any other ones that you want me to look into? No. Okay.
What kind of 10 foot is more of a new norm, ain't it?
It is, yes. Yep. 9 feet is the minimum, and that's what our code says. But again, 10 foot's kind of the norm, the new norm, and it does give it a little bit more space to try to prevent some of the road that we 100% prevent. It gives a little bit more space in between the next vehicle.
Plus, not only that, it's the length of the vehicles that turn into them now, too.
Yeah.
Should you need some kind of direction there,
Well, we'll talk about that at the council meeting. If you want more parking lots, I can quit pulling up between now and 7:30, through Google Earth. But those are the parking lots I thought of just to kind of get a synopsis of where most people travel to, and if you're comfortable with a particular parking lot versus one that you're not.
I think Lauren, one of your concerns is behind the courthouse. When you go for DMV there now, how tight them spots were. Did you grab that one at all by chance?
I did not, like, did you?
Them are probably 9, they're pretty tight.
More like probably 8.5.
They don't meet the code. Not meeting the code. They're wide and they just
map for the entire 40? Would they be all put on the,
37.
They are on the south side, right?
so they'd be on the south side, so that's for the courthouse, it wouldn't affect the parking for the library.
Correct.
So, are we looking at having 9 stalls now or 10?
We're having 10.
Okay.
There's 10 spots on the north side there that would have parking available to the library. And right now, we've called it out as 30-minute parking as opposed to necessarily library patron parking. We can change the wording on that, but likely if you're going to be going to the library or going to 30 minutes, it's going to be to the library.
30 minutes, you'd about get into the courthouse and turn around and get back.
That's true, that's true.
Minutes isn't enough for the library either.
No.
If you go to the library, 30 minutes isn't enough time.
Drop
If you
off
go
the
in,
book.
well, if you go check out a book or if you're gonna go
On the internet or?
on the internet or something.
Yeah, I think you need longer than 30 minutes. Can't get a whole lot done in the library in 30 minutes.
We can definitely adjust it if we were.
I would say an hour,
Especially when you read stuff.
I would say an hour at least.
Yeah, find somebody retrieving it. Did you have anything else then?
That's all I got.
Anyone else under other? We'll stand adjourned till 7:30, regular meeting.